Hi, everyone. Welcome. I'm glad that we're able to connect this spring semester to talk a little bit about the dining operations and some exciting updates that we have for next semester. We look at this as a great opportunity for us all to be able to connect and check in, provide some updates, as I mentioned. For those that are on the call, please feel free to write into the chat, and we'll answer questions if we have time at the end. If we don't have time at the end, what we'll do is we'll be certain to respond appropriately. My name is Dustin Cutler. I'm the Executive Director for Cornell Dining. And I'd like to give a shout out to Bryan Weintraub and all his work within the SA Dining Committee over the years, and wish him the best of luck. He will be graduating this semester. And actually, this was an initiative brought to dining through the SA dining group. So really looking forward to connecting today, providing, as I said, some really exciting updates and providing some opportunity for some discussion. So I'd like to introduce some of the panelists. We have Paul Macente, who is our Associate Director of Operations. Paul. Lisa, the Director of Organizational Excellence. Lisa. Amy Vlemix, who is our new General Manager for Morrison Dining and the NCRE project. Amy, give a wave. And Bryan Weintraub, Class of 21, Student Assembly Dining Chair. Bryan? And a super special thanks to Margaret Bruns, who is behind the scenes and been navigating this town hall for us. Thank you so much, Margaret. We greatly appreciate it. With that, Bryan, I'll pass it over to you.
Thanks so much, Dustin. I really appreciate that and the warm welcome. So glad to have all of you joining us today. I think it's a really awesome opportunity to hear from some of the from the leadership team at Dining, sort of up close and personal, which is an opportunity that we don't have that often as students. And I think it's amazing that all of you are joining us and taking this opportunity. I just want to talk a little bit about the Student Assembly Dining Committee before we jump in, and share a little bit about what we do and sort of my role as chair. The Dining Committee is something that I've been involved in since my freshman year, so it's been a long 4 years, but a really enjoyable one. And so the committee serves a purpose of not only providing students an opportunity to really get some face time with leaders of dining, like Amy, Lisa, Paul, and Dustin, of course, but also really giving dining an opportunity to hear directly from students how things are going, right? So to get a sense of what do students like, where do students see room for improvement, what are suggestions, what's some feedback on the dining experience, and making sure that there is really a path for students to come with questions, with concerns, with ideas, with new suggestions, bring that to the committee, and then the committee brings that to dining. So certainly something that I unfortunately will not be running the committee next year, as I will have graduated. But I really do encourage any of you that are passionate about dining, that are passionate about food, and love just making a change and making a difference, and really having a chance to get your voices heard and out there. Definitely consider joining the committee. That's something that the committee is always taking new applications come the fall. And if you're at all interested, please feel free to reach out to me. Happy to put my email in the chat after this. But again, just a really great opportunity, and it allows us to put on some amazing events like this. So really, just in terms of what today is going to look like, we're going to run through sort of an overview of what dining will look like in the fall on some really exciting changes. And then we'll go in to answer some audience submitted questions that came in prior to the event. So without further ado, Dustin, the first question is going to be for you. Can you tell us a little bit about what we can expect from dining when we get back to campus in the fall?
Yeah, I really appreciate that question. Before I dive into it, Bryan, I do want to say I really appreciate the work. I've been here at Cornell for 4 years, and I really appreciate the collaboration and the work that we have had with SA Dining. They have helped shape our program, as well as our student organization, the students that work for us. So we collaborate significantly with our students to help with food insecurity, to help with menu options, to help provide more vegan options, hours of operation. So I really appreciate all the work and great collaboration. Talking a little bit about what we can expect, dining has some pretty exciting months ahead of us and years ahead of us as well. First, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the infrastructure changes that are going to be taking place that I know are going to add a lot of value to our program. This is in the retail space and in the residential dining space as well. So when I say retail, we refer to that as where you would use your declining balance, cash, credit card, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm going to start off with Martha's, which is a new concept that we recently opened up in human ecology. And it is inspired through the Mediterranean cuisine. It's fully customizable and a plant-based approach to dining. We've received great feedback from our students thus far. If you haven't made it there this semester, I encourage you to please make it before the semester ends. Again, this is in human ecology. The place was completely revamped, open kitchen concept. You select your ingredients. It provides bowls and wraps. We also have a partnership with a local roaster, Copper Horse, and that coffee has been received very well. So that's a new addition to our retail program that I think is well, I don't think, I know it's been received well, and our students really appreciate the efforts in there. A great partnership with our clients in human ecology and nutritional sciences as well. The next concept that I'm going to talk about is more than one concept. It's about 11 in one building, and that's Morrison Dining. And I think that Amy and Paul are going to touch base on this a little bit later on. I'm going to provide a high-level overview. So for those that are on North Campus and been experiencing the beautiful buildings that are being put up around you as we're building for the future, one of those is a magnificent dining hall, which was created to feel like a food hall that you would see in a metropolitan city, or as you're walking through a neighborhood and visiting different restaurants and concepts. It's in the center of a neighborhood, and we feel that food should be the center of the community. Selfishly, that's what folks in dining think, but I think that it will definitely create a very flexible space, one that will help unite and also educate. With that is going to come 11 different platforms. The platforms include different concepts, anything from pasta, pizza, a global concept, which is food from around the world. We're providing a new kosher station, which has action involved in it, a halal station in this new facility as well. We're creating a vegan action station. And as I mentioned earlier, we have a great partnership with Nutritional Sciences. We're going to be providing a discovery kitchen inside of this dining hall. Fully transparent, 24 platforms. It'll be used for classes in nutritional sciences. Dining will use it for educational purposes, engaging with students, as well as all of our research and development. So can't wait to show off that facility to all of you. And Amy and Paul will get into that a little bit more later on. We're also adding 2 new cafes to North Campus. One is called Crossings Cafe, which is adjacent to the Morrison Dining Hall. The other cafe is going to be close to Appel and North Star. And that's going to be it's right now it's listed as the first year cafe. We still need to name it at this point in time. That's going to feel like a more high-end beverage experience / cafe. And the Crossings Cafe, which I was referring to earlier, is going to be a smoothie cafe concept. Very exciting. First full-blown smoothie concept on campus, which will pair nicely with the fitness center, which is one level beneath it. The Ivy Room, as some of you have heard, is being converted into a board operation. And this is very important for us to accommodate the other meal plan holders that come along with the North Campus residential expansion. After various studies and a master dining evaluation, we needed more seats on Central Campus for meal swipes. So essentially, you'll be able to utilize the Ivy Room with some modifications for a swipe versus using your big red bucks. It'll be opened up as one large facility, and more details will be coming out around that, but it's going to provide more access for our students on Central Campus from a swipe perspective. North Star and Appel Commons is being fully renovated, and that will start in January of 22. And that needs to be modified to handle the throughput for the additional students coming on to North Campus. With that comes all new platforms and new concepts built into Appel. So if you see Appel today, that won't look the same a year and a half from now. Amy and Paul, as I mentioned, will be giving more details on these updates and, on these renovations as we discuss later on. Another initiative that we've worked closely with SA Dining on that has been very, very important to myself and our organization is working on tackling food insecurity on this campus. It is unfortunate that we still have this opportunity to address. We have been working collaboratively with SA Dining as well as the Dean of Students and financial aid to try to solve for food insecurity at our university. We've done so by the Swipe Out Hunger program. Some of you on this very call today may have donated swipes to fellow friends that may be in need of an additional meal. We've also created the Student and Campus Life Food Pantry on campus, and that has been utilized very well. Great feedback has been provided on both of these concepts, but they're not a solve. They assist, and they will continue to assist in the future, but it's more of an opportunity than just providing a meal swipe and the food pantries. Very beneficial, have supported our students and will continue to for the future, but we need to look at different ways in tackling food insecurity. So what we have done as an organization is evaluated our meal plans. And one of the things that was an opportunity is we wanted to lower the cost to our students. We provide a great program, right? 10 all-you-care-to-eat dining facilities, all running different menu options, 18 different retail locations. And when we get out of this COVID pandemic, the old Cornell dining will be able to come back and provide you with those customizable meals and provide more options to our students. We have been tied a little bit with our precautionary measures because safety comes first. We need to take care of all of our students. We need to take care of all of our staff. And we've been very successful with that this year. Has it put some restrictions on our offerings? Of course it has. We are very cautiously optimistic that we will get back to our old program in the future. So back to the value of the meal plans. We have been looking at this as part of the master dining evaluation as well. The price of our meal plans, the cost associated with them to the students. So what we have done is we've lowered the cost of all of our traditional meal plans in our portfolio. And this will start in the fall, this upcoming fall. The price of the unlimited plan will be the price of the 14 meals a week. The price of the 14 meals a week will be reduced to the price of what the 10 meals a week were, plus the big red bucks that are associated with those. So again, the unlimited plan is being reduced, a whole nother lower tier. The 14 meal is being lowered to another tier that is structured as the 10 meal. This is very important due to the fact that financial aid covered 14 meals a week, students that received financial aid. That only equals 2 meals a day. So we took a very strong stance in support of SCL leadership, saying that all of our students should have access to unlimited meals for year 1 and year 2 while you're here living with us at Cornell University. So what we came up with is one new plan where it's called the Universal Meal Plan. And this is for all incoming students. First-year students will be enrolled in the unlimited plan, which has been reduced to the cost of the 14 meals per week. As your second year live on, you will have the option of an unlimited plan or the 14 meals a week, which has been reduced to the price of what the 10 meals a week is. All current students are part of the legacy plans. So nothing will change for you if you are a student right here at Cornell University, because this change was made while you've been here. So the only thing fair is for us to honor the legacy, the old meal plan structure to you. However, you'll be able to reap the benefits of the lower meal plan price as well. So the way that our organization, the way that we feel about this is food should never be a barrier to academic success, right? We create an experience on campus to build community and enhance equality. And by making the investments in our infrastructure, reducing the price of our meal plans, providing more access to our students is a great value for our students, and it sets them up for success for many years to come.
That is super exciting, Dustin. Thank you so much for that overview. It's really tough for me as a graduating senior, knowing that so many of these really exciting changes I won't actually be around to see, though. I definitely will need to come back and visit to check out some of these new and improved eateries. So that's super exciting, and just I think there's a lot of really great things for all of us to look forward to when we return in the fall. For those of us that are returning in the fall. So we do have a few follow-up questions about the new meal plans,
Sure.
which I'll jump to. So the first one from the audience is, if I'm a current first-year student and I'm planning to live on North Campus or in a dorm in College Town next year as a sophomore, will I be required to sign up for a meal plan?
No, you will not. You'll be included. You'll be a part of the legacy meal plan. So the same rules and regulations as today will exist for you until you graduate or until 2024.
And Dustin, just to confirm, those legacy meal plans, those will be at the new price point that you just mentioned, right?
That's correct. So all the meal plans across the board for Universal and for Legacy will all be dropped down to a tier in pricing.
Great. That's awesome. And so, Dustin, what about if I'm an incoming transfer student for the fall of 2021? Will I be required to sign up for a meal plan at that point?
So yes, you will be required to live on campus, but you will have the selection as like a second-year student between the unlimited meal plan or the 14 meals a week. Also, if you join West Campus, that plan is not changing. That is going to be the unlimited plan, and that is going to be the same price for that unlimited plan on West Campus as the ones on North Campus and South.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. And then the final question here relating to meal plans is specifically for first-year students that join Greek Life in the spring of 2022. Will they still be allowed to downgrade their meal plans in the way that they've been able to do traditionally?
Yes. They're still going to be able to downgrade their meal plans into the spring semester if they decide to join the Greek Life. What they will either sign up for is a lower tier traditional plan or the supplemental meal plan that we put into place several years ago. So we'll still honor that same process.
Perfect. That sounds great. I think that gives a really good overview of what what the situation should look like with meal plans when we get back in the fall. So another question we've actually gotten a lot of questions about NCRE dining. Seems like folks are really excited about that, which is awesome. So Amy, this question might be best directed at you. When exactly is NCRE dining going to open, and will off-campus residents have access to the facility?
Yeah, Morrison Dining will be opening in January of 2022, the spring semester. We're super excited to open this building. As Dustin mentioned, it's going to be just beautiful. It's just going to be an eye opener, and it'll be very exciting for everyone to see it. As far as who's it's open to is pending university guidance on visitors and the daily check protocols. The facility will be open to all students in the community, and we're hoping that by that time everything is back to normal and we can fully enjoy the new facility. But I'd love to take this time to tell you a little bit more about the facility itself. As Dustin mentioned, there will be 11 different stations. There's going to be a lot of action cooking going on. I'll start with the pizza area. As soon as you walk into the entrance, the main entrance, there's 2 gorgeous pizza ovens. They're just beautiful. And I'll talk about that a little bit later. Right next to it is the pasta station. We're going to be offering different kinds of fresh pasta every day, and our guests will be able to actually see the pasta being made fresh. In the station, they'll see someone behind the scenes making the pasta, and then they can go through the line. They can choose their ingredients. They can choose the type of pasta, the sauce, the toppings. We'll be putting it in a saute pan, reheating that for them, and then putting it in a bowl for them to enjoy. And then there's a large global station that just has a full suite of very unique cooking equipment. It has woks, which we are used to, but it also has rotisserie ovens. It has a wood-fired grill, and it has a very large iron grill. The iron grill is similar to what's at Robert Purcell right now, but it's a little bit larger. So that'll have just a ton of offerings on it that students can customize and make to their liking. There will be a vegan and vegetarian station. We're going to call it the EVO Grill. And this will be for those people that are avoiding the animal-based proteins and other animal-based foods. They can choose their ingredients, hand it over to the cook. The cook will be cooking it right in front of them. Once again, handing it over to them. So I think that'll really offer a lot of variety for people that are watching what they eat and want more healthy options. There's going to be a smoothie bar area, also a salad bar with med-inspired composed salads, as well as we'll have the traditional salad offerings at that station as well. And that's a very large station. So healthy eating will be at the forefront in that particular part of the dining facility. We are enhancing the kosher and the halal stations. Those, it's very nice because they're right near each other, but they're separate. And that'll have food specific to those cultures. And there will be some action at the kosher station, which is slightly different than how we have been serving it at North Star. There is also the Discovery Kitchen. That'll be a shared space between nutritional sciences and dining. Dining will be using it as a test kitchen to test out recipes that we want to put on our future menus. And then the Division of Nutritional Sciences will be holding classes in there. And that space is gorgeous. Like, it's all enclosed in glass. And there are, I believe, 12 different cooking stations where you will be able to watch and kind of see what's going on, almost like some live action. You can watch the classes, or you can watch our staff in there trying to test out some recipes. So we're very excited about that and can't wait to show it to everybody.
That is so exciting. I could just imagine sort of sitting in there, eating lunch, and then just being able to see, just chefs in dining working on new recipes, or even just folks in class. I think that's going to be certainly a really cool experience for all of our diners and all of our students. So we actually had another question come in, and you sort of touched on this a little bit, but will Morrison Dining be open for all meal periods, for breakfast, lunch, and dinner?
Yeah, we will be open 7 days a week with 3 meals a day being offered Monday through Saturday. And then Sunday, we will be doing our traditional brunch and dinner. And we are looking at the possibility of offering some late night pizza options. A little bit, once we get our feet under us and everything's running smoothly, we're thinking of opening that pizza station for some late night. And the pizza ovens can cook a pizza in less than 2 minutes. We're looking at mobile ordering, right? So you could be sitting in your room, you're hungry, you're studying, put in a mobile order, and just hop on down to the dining facility and pick it up. So we're hoping that we can get that started as soon as we can. So
that's so exciting. That sounds like an amazing offering for everyone that'll be up on North Campus, and even folks that are beyond. We had another question actually come in about takeout, and it sounds like, Amy, that there might be some takeout options at Morrison Dining, but will the takeout be available at all dining facilities in the way that it has been since the pandemic started?
Yeah, and Paul, do you want to answer that?
Yeah, I could take that one,
Okay.
Amy.
Right.
So Bryan, I just want to take a second to thank you for all the work that you've done with chairing the committee, and you definitely have made dining better, and you have definitely made a difference. So thank you for everything you've done. So in regards to reusable containers, our program will continue. Our program will continue in the fall semester. Our hope is more students would participate in that program. As some of you may know, the program was in place prior to COVID. So our hope again is for more people to partake in that program. So we will have reusable containers available come fall.
That's awesome. That's great to hear. And thank you, Paul, for the kind words. I really appreciate that.
Sure.
It has been just an absolute pleasure working with all of you and having a chance to participate in great events like this. So just a real honor. Another question we got in about sort of restrictions and things like that. One student was wondering if we're still going to be working with the same social distancing and mask and seating precautions next year that we're currently dealing with now. And also, do we think we might see some additional options open up next year that maybe have been closed since COVID?
Yeah, that's another great question. So we are definitely cautiously optimistic, right, about all the federal guidelines, state guidelines, and university guidelines really easing up, right, to get back to our somewhat normal service, right, and our service model with the customization and things that Dustin mentioned earlier. We are, as many people know, we have closed down some locations. We've closed down Franny's. We've had Sage that has been closed down. We had Big Red Barn that closed down. So our hope is that a lot of these locations will open up as restrictions and students become vaccinated, more people vaccinated, more units and things that we'll be able to ease up on. So again, being cautiously optimistic, but definitely that's our hope.
Right. Yeah, I certainly I love checking the maybe I'm the only one, but I love checking the Cornell COVID dashboard and keep seeing that vaccination number rise every day. I think we're, last time I checked, right around 45% of the campus population is vaccinated, which is great. So really exciting developments there, and just awesome that we've been able to move so fast. Another question that came in. There's been a lot of talk recently about changes coming to the Ivy Room. So Paul, I was wondering if you could speak a little bit more about that and what those changes are going to look like.
Sure. So we do have changes coming. So opening up in the semester. Good news is the Ivy Room space will not be changing, right? But we are opening up as a larger residential or all you care to eat facility, right? So we have received feedback in the past about students being able to use meal swipes on central campus. So that has been some consistent feedback that we have received along the way. So good news is you will be able to walk in to either Ivy Room side, right, of Willard Strait or Oak and Shields, and you'll be able to use a meal swipe at the grill station or your pizza station. We do plan on having some modifications to some of those stations. So we are enhancing a salad bar. We will have a bowl concept that will be available, again, for all of a meal swipe, right? So we will have Big Red Bucks location straight from the market, another popular location on campus. So you still be able to go to straight from the market, use your Big Red Bucks and declining balance. But again, knowing that there's going to be 2,000 more students on campus, knowing that we received the feedback about being able to use a meal swipe on Central, we've expanded the Oak and Shields venue. So that's the plan. The other good news is we know that Ivy Room will be missed in some of the popular menu items. So our plan starting May 3rd will be to rotate some of those items through Trillium. So you're going to see some, again, some of those popular items. So we have the banana pancakes, which are going to be offered at Trillium. We're getting into the curly fries and cheesesteak the following week. And we have some of the lemon chicken that came off of the bamboo station, which was a popular menu item. And then 2 or 3 of the pizza menu items that came off of the pizza station there in the Ivy Room. So all are going to be served at Trillium, rotating for about 3 or 4 weeks. So hopefully that's a good way to send people off and ready for the summer and give them a chance to really taste some of those items that they've been missing out of the Ivy Room.
Those, I'll tell you, those curly fries, just the best. They've gotten me through some tough weeks. I love those curly fries. So I for one will definitely be at Trillium to pick some of those up. That's super exciting. So yeah, it definitely sounds like there are going to be some opportunities to sort of almost say a little bit of a farewell to the Ivy Room for our graduating seniors, to stop by Trillium in the next few weeks. But then just seems like some really exciting developments coming down the line in the fall in that same space, which I think is going to be great. And Paul, just to confirm, folks will still be able to, even if they're not on a meal plan, they'll still be able to pay, with cash or credit card at the door and still go in and enjoy Oak and Shields at the Ivy Room at that point, correct?
That's correct, Brian, for sure.
Awesome. So another question we got that came in. This is a fun one. Will dining ever offer delivery service?
So I can take that one, Brian. So we've actually been approached by several student groups who proposed their delivery project ideas to us over time, and we've even helped a few of the groups test it out. Right now, with all of the wonderful things that we have going on, we've heard from Dustin and Amy and Paul with all the expansion projects. Delivery is not a focus for us at this time. We're really focusing on Morrison Dining, Crossings Cafe, and the expansion projects at both Ivy Room, Willard Strait, and North Star. Just so we make sure that we're ready for the extra students that are going to be on campus, associated with that residential expansion at North Campus.
That makes a lot of sense. That's always an exciting thing, I think, to just think about, possibilities, maybe 5, 10, 15 years down the line, like, who knows where things are going to be, right? And I think that's always super, super cool to, our students definitely are really innovative in that sense. So always exciting to see. Another point, and at least I think you could probably touch on this, that folks have been wondering about is, we know that obviously COVID has impacted Cornell Dining sustainability efforts. And students are really, really wondering what they can do to mitigate sort of the impacts of COVID on sustainability when we get back in the fall.
That's a great question. I'm glad you asked. When COVID hit, we were devastated as well, having to switch to all disposable containers. One thing that we implemented this semester was a promo of a combination pack. So we worked with other partners on campus. We were sponsored. So we actually reached our goal of selling 300 combination units of the reusable containers and reusable utensils. And as Paul mentioned earlier, we still are going to promote the use of reusable containers in our residential dining ongoing into the fall. We're really pleased to see that so many of our guests share our passion for sustainability. We this semester are in the process of switching straws from plastic straws over to a product called Fade, which is both marine and land biodegradable. So check those out. We're really excited to participate in that. And we're hoping that everybody will support our sustainability initiatives in the fall. And you can do that by supporting the reusable program. So we sell reusable containers, reusable utensils, reusable straws, reusable cups. We're very much looking forward to the return of our Kick the Cup campaign, which is a nice competition in all of our retail locations to promote reusable mugs instead of the disposable paper cups. So I would say for those students who haven't purchased sets yet, look for those and go out and buy and just help us really support that ongoing sustainability.
That's awesome, Lisa. I guess, really another way, at least that I think about it, of a great way to be sustainable is, when it's a little bit easier to head down to a dining hall with some friends and grab a table, maybe back in the way things used to be. Great way to be sustainable is to eat in the dining hall, right? And to be able to use china and use, metal silverware and real serviceware. And I think that's another great way, not only to have a lot of fun, enjoy a great meal, but also to be a little bit more sustainable as well. So that's super exciting. This is another really interesting question, and one that I've wondered, especially the past 2 years as an off-campus resident. A student was wondering if dining will ever expand operations into College Town, if dining has any plans to do that in the near future.
Brian, I could speak to that. So currently, right now, we don't have any plans to expand into College Town. So a lot of our efforts and investments have went into on campus. Everything that everybody has mentioned pretty much with NCRE and Martha's and a lot of other operations here on campus. So what I could say is with Willard Strait and Oakland Shields being closest to College Town, I would ask that students, take a visit and check out Willard Strait. Again, you're able to get in there with a meal swipe, as well as Big Red Box, if you have Big Red Box, right? So you're able to get in there, and then you have straight from the market again upstairs. So I think that's something that we would want to highlight. Also, knowing that we do have City Bucks that is available that could be used in a lot of our College Town locations. So that's definitely make use of those city bucks, right? To those local vendors that do accept those city bucks. So I think it's more at this time. There's a lot going on campus for sure. A lot of renovations, a lot of things happening in our on-campus facilities, and it's really an exciting time. So I would say if you're in College Town, check out Willard Straight, get the straight from the market, use those city bucks for sure.
Awesome. Thanks, Paul. That's a great answer, and I think helpful for our students living off campus. And I'd also say, just as an off-campus resident, heading down to West Campus for dinner sometimes is also a great option. It's actually a lot closer than it may seem to College Town, and always a great place to get really great, really affordable meal. So that's another super exciting thing as well. So another question that came in from students. Someone was wondering a little bit about how we approach healthy food in the dining halls, and really, how dining recommends that students find food that works for an individual's particular diet, and really just things once we get out of COVID, because selection has been a little bit reduced because of the pandemic, certainly, but how is that going to, I guess, get back to where things were before as we come out of the pandemic?
That's a great question, Brian. I'll shoot it an answer for that one. So, mentioning COVID, absolutely. Things have changed, and we knew things were going to change. We're very, very much looking forward to returning back to service, where each one of our residential dining locations serves a unique menu that is designed by a chef in that particular location. And that's really exciting. We, as a university, subscribe to the Principles of Menus of Change, which is a university research collaborative that really highlights plant-forward, healthy, nutritious, sustainable dining. You can find options in our dining hall by looking for our logo, our Eating Well with Cornell Dining logo. It's a little red apple that says Eating Well with Cornell Dining around it, which really highlights items we serve that follow our clean ingredient mission. You can check out our menus and shop on now.dining.cornell.edu. It has that little Eating Well with Cornell logo, and it'll help you kind of find the preferences, for foods that you're looking for that might speak to you, that are on the healthier option. For retail locations, we have a tool called Net Nutrition, which you can also get to by going to netnutrition.dining.cornell.edu. And that's interesting because that'll tell you in our retail locations what items have allergens in them, what the nutritional values are, the ingredients are. So that's really a nice tool for students to use as well. So I would say definitely use both of those tools and look for that Eating Well with Cornell Dining. And of course, like Amy spoke about, we're so excited of all of the options that we're going to have at Morrison Dining. And we've taken some of those options and we're implementing those in other places on campus as well, because we've had so much fun developing all of those, the healthy, the vegan, the vegetarian, all of the healthy options. So we're really excited for fall, right? For everyone to come back and see the exciting, great work that Cornell Dining has in store for you.
I think that's been, I guess, the mantra of the past year. We're really excited for what's next, and we are. Everybody's so excited for what's next. It's just I think it, at least for me, I think it's if there's one thing that this pandemic has certainly made clear, it's that everything that our regular lives and what we get back to is certainly a lot more exciting than it may have seemed a year ago. So that's super great. We do have just a few more prepared questions, but if anyone else in the audience has anything that they'd like to bring up, or any other questions, feel free to submit those now, and then we're happy to get to those. And also, it looks like Margaret just dropped the link to Cornell Dining Now, as well as Net Nutrition in the chat, so you can check that out to just check out those websites as well. So the next question we have is in relation to late night dining, which is something that students are often wondering about. And so one student was wondering if dining is planning on offering additional access to late night food, sort of in the after 10 p.m. range, as things ramp up when we get back in the fall.
So Brian, that's always a popular question, right? And I could say that we're currently working on hours of operation. We know hours of operation are important to students. So good news is we have NCRE, which has a pizza platform, which is going to be available. We're looking at having a late night option, serving pizza off of that platform later in the evening. So that will be open late night, as well as Bare Necessities, keeping those hours. We also have Crossings Cafe, which is the cafe that's located on North Campus, that we will be having late night options. So that's the location that Dustin mentioned, where we'll have a smoothie concept available, but there will also be some other menu items available during in that facility. So definitely looking at hours of operation, expanding in some locations across campus, working diligently now to make sure we have those options available come fall.
Awesome. That sounds great. That late night pizza option sounds really enticing. One thing that I'd love to do just quickly before we wrap up is, we have a lot of amazing things coming down the pipeline for the fall. I'd love to just ask everyone on the call here, what one thing are you most excited about for dining to be opening come the fall?
Hopefully to a place where we can celebrate food and community and at the same time. We've done a great job of trying to blend those two together with restrictions that we have, but by allowing folks to dine in, as you mentioned, some universities aren't even allowing that. Being able to use China to help support sustainability and the precautionary measures are going into that of keeping that China sanitary, right? So I look forward to students being able to customize their own meals again, have more control back into our dining facilities, and have programming that it enhances community and education. For me, that's a long answer to a short question, but I cannot wait till we can provide that back to our students and our staff.
Absolutely.
I guess I could jump in there, Brian. So I think it's really seeing our interacting with our staff for sure. Watching our staff interact with students, getting back to some of our larger events that we know showcase our program, that provide that experience for students on campus. So everything that Dustin mentioned, but just getting back to our normal day-to-day, right, putting the program out there that we know we can put out there in regards to variety and things. So yeah, let's loosen up those restrictions and get back to what we get back to somewhat normal. For sure.
One other thing that I'd like to add is I tell my staff frequently, our first year students have had a lot of things taken from them. Graduation, sports, the prom, and then they come to campus and there's more control around food, which is a very emotional thing for many people. I'm one of them. So being able to provide our students with what Cornell Dining can offer without being held to the restrictions that we have to follow, because safety comes first. I look forward to those first year students being able to experience the Cornell Dining food and service. I had to put that in there at the end because that is, I feel for those first year students and cautiously optimistic, I think is the term, that hopefully we can get back to that place this upcoming fall.
Absolutely.
Lisa, did you?
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm looking forward to all of our activation events. So we used to have so many, fun things, the farm to fork dinner, the fall harvest dinner, but even tabling events. So our nutrition students would like to go in and do tabling events for, education type of things, and the student sustainability coordinators are looking forward to getting back into the units and interacting with their peers, educating on food waste and carbon footprint. So there's a lot of of that one-on-one, that interaction that we haven't been able to do. That's a big part of our program, and I'm looking forward to getting that back into swing, and I think so are our students.
Absolutely. Amy, how about you?
I definitely want to, jump on that bandwagon of looking forward to, students coming into the facility and back to the old ways that they can go to the walk station and pick what they want. More actionable items, right? Like, we're really doing it the way I used to go when I was in school, right? You went up to the station and you only had so many choices. And that's very hard for us to go back to do that. It's hard for us to shift because we know it's very hard for the guests to enjoy it and the students to enjoy it. So Dustin talked about that control. So it'll be nice to release some of that control and give students back some of that freedom. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. And just the interaction, right? There's less people on campus, both staff-wise and student-wise. So you don't get that full experience. It's very different. So, and you do you forget, you're like, oh, I can't wait until we can get back to that. And actually going to meetings in person, I think is nice as opposed to doing everything virtually. I'm really looking forward to more in-person meetings. So.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think Amy, you bring up a really great point, and I guess that what I would say of what I'm so excited for a lot to come back and visit, and I'll be up for homecoming, and then maybe a few other weekends too. But I think really just the, for lack of a better term, the vibe that you get when you walk into a packed dining hall with students and staff and everybody talking and mingling and enjoying meals and just it's like nothing else. And I think that that environment and that feeling you get when you walk in, when we all have the chance to do that for the first time, when this is over, I think that's going to be a really amazing feeling and certainly just something I'm really looking forward to personally. So I think a lot of great things coming down. You can see everybody on the team is super excited about what's coming next. So with that, we are running up against time. But before we wrap up, if I have additional feedback or suggestions, what's the best way to get those heard? What's the best way to connect with dining?
Yeah, I can do that one, Bryan. So a great way is to please send us an email at dining@cornell.edu or leverage our platform called Give Us the Dish. You can text Nourish to 52885, and that provides us with feedback on service, quality of food, variety, a number of things. We also use that to help with providing employee recognition through great guest experiences. Another thing that you can text is text Red Apple to 52855 through June, and that's for employee feedback. And it's a great way that we sit around in our daily huddles and tell a team member, thank you for making the difference with somebody's day. And our staff really feeds off of that. And that's what I was talking about a little bit earlier, that we can't wait to get back to those type of interactions. And another outlet that you have is to provide feedback is cornelldiningfeedback.com. Again, that's cornelldiningfeedback.com. And I'd like to thank everybody, including the panelists today, and the questions that came in from our students. I don't know if we have any more people that have asked any more questions, but I'd be willing to take those on now. But I really appreciate the time. Bryan, thank you so much for assisting with coordinating this. Margaret, thank you so much for your assistance as well. We are very anxious to get back in the swing of things. And Bryan, as you mentioned earlier, just the excitement of walking into a dining hall. I know that we're running short on time here, but with some of the ways that we designed the Morrison Dining Hall, this was obviously before the pandemic. This has been designed for over the past 3 years. It was intentional to help build community. So it's not like a straight line that you walk into and it's stations around a perimeter. These are stations that are set as like islands in the middle of the dining room, which encourages people to move around and get up and be social. And the seating allows for that as well. So again, cautiously optimistic we'll be able to offer the flexibility, customization, and things along those lines to our students and for our staff. I say our staff because it means a lot to them to put a smile on on our students face, faculty and staff's face on a daily basis. So we thrive in that.
Amazing. Well, thank you all so much. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I hope everyone's had an opportunity to get some questions answered and hear about some of the really just amazing things coming down the pipeline for this fall. So thank you all for attending, and best of luck with the last two and a half weeks of classes. Good luck on finals. Enjoy the great weather, and stay well, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Brian.
Thanks, Brian.
Take care.
Bye.
Thanks, Brian.